against capitalism. We're pro-capitalism, but what we believe in is that real market capitalism, but fair market capitalism, and then probably more importantly than even all of those, which is non-interventionism in regards to foreign policy. Basically, we are not going to...
You don't want to blow up Syrians? Is that what you're telling me?
Not only not blow up Syrians, but to give money, financial aid to all these countries that really... What is, I saw a great meme earlier today, which expressed it probably the best, which was that we take money from poor Americans. Our rich country takes money from poor Americans to give to rich individuals in poor countries.
No, that's very true. All I can do, because I know that a lot of people don't even understand how that taxation system works, but pay attention to it. Do yourself a favor. It's not very complicated. You don't have to put on the tinfoil hat, as we said before, but look at where the money goes. Look who's getting funded. Right now, the average American is struggling to make ends meet. You may have a little bit of surplus left at the end of each month. However, the amount of money being sent out of the country via your tax dollars is going to fund people that don't believe in America, would gladly behead an American, and we're giving them automatic firearms and explosives. However, you, the American people, should not have any of those things yourselves. And so there's this hypocritical paradox that's going on. And you're free to think however you want to. I mean, if you don't like semi-automatic firearms, or if you don't like weapons that have a scope and a cool-looking handle on them, I respect your right to never purchase one of those.
Right.
However, if somebody who is never going to use that on somebody has one, it's not your right to take it away from them, because that would make you a thief or a criminal if you view it that way.
Right.
And we view it that way. I do personally. I don't think you have a right to do anything to anybody who's not doing anything illegal. You need to pay attention to the laws.
Right.
You need to pay attention to what's going on. It is your child's future. It is your grandchild's future. If any of our listeners are, older, don't have children, and are on their way out, whatever. I respect your right to not vote on anything. But for anybody who has somebody they love and care about, pay attention to the laws, pay attention to the rhetoric, pay attention to where your taxes are going, because I really don't want to spend my taxes on bombing any more countries.
Right.
My liberal and democratic friends enlighten me to the paradox of war, and I just think we need to pull out of it. And that's what Obama promised us, and we're not there yet.
Right.
So
we're the opposite end.
Yeah, we're actually creating more wars, and Obama pledged that we are going to be in Syria for many years and possibly put boots on the ground. Robert, I was watching a great YouTube video, and there was a Syrian woman whose family is in Syria right now, and she was confronting McCain. So go onto YouTube, and not you yourself, but listeners, go onto YouTube and look at Syrian woman confronting John McCain. And she explained, she goes, my family has been in Syria. You can trace our name back to the days of the Bible. We have been there eternally. And what you're doing right now, you, John McCain, say that we have no option. She goes, but I want you to understand something, John McCain. My family is not collateral damage. My family are people that I love. They're people that I want alive. I don't want to watch their blood shed because you have no other option. And she calls him out, and he can't even speak. All he can do is grab his hands, clench his teeth, and listen to her. And we need more people like her that see things happening. And, don't wait till it's your child being blown apart. Don't wait till it's your family in another country being blown apart. Don't wait till it's your friend's family. Speak out now, vote intelligently, and pay attention to what's going on.
Right.
That's what this show is all about, is just enlightening people. I don't want to tell you what to do, but please pay attention.
Right.
If you agree, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of Americans out there that are like, oh, they're just ragheads. Blow them up. Blow them all to kingdom come. I see it on YouTube all the time. I disagree. I hope you guys do too.
Right. Absolutely, because at the end of the day, they're human beings just like we are, and we're all one big human family.
Atheists, Christians, Jewish people, everybody agrees. We are one human family.
Absolutely. And it's really important. What you were saying was a great point, and something that kind of segues into what I was just thinking about bringing up, which was as far as knowing being educated about what your politicians are talking about, what they're saying, reading between the lines. For example, in regards to what you were talking about in regards to the First Amendment and our right to bear arms, if you go back a year or two when Obama made a speech, which you can actually find online, and he was talking about automatic weapons, and he was saying that, I think that most people would agree with me that automatic weapons don't belong in the arms of our military and law enforcement and not in the hands of criminals. Well, in making that statement, what he's basically saying is that anyone who owns an automatic weapon that's not military or not police is a criminal.
Pretty much. Well, however, ironically, he has armed Al-Qaeda recently with automatic firearms and explosives.
Absolutely.
So what does that make him? If I gave a gun, I legally purchase a gun, and I go to a convicted felon in the United States and give it to him, what does that make me?
Right. Well, in his eyes, it makes you a criminal, and that's really the point that I want to drive home, is that to really think about that, because that's an example of what politicians say, and not only important to listen to what they're saying, like the words that are coming out of their minds, but what are they implying by the words that they're saying? And again, so I bring up that point. If you're saying to me that most Americans would agree that automatic weapons belong in the hands of military and police officers and not in the hands of criminals, there's a middle ground there.
Where do citizens fit into that statement?
Exactly. So you're telling me that if anyone owns an automatic firearm that's not a police or military, then by the nature of your statement, you're telling me that if I own an automatic firearm, automatically I'm a criminal because I'm not police and I'm not military. There's something really poignant about that, and people only kind of listen to, they only half listen. You know, I'm in the business. I'm an insurance broker. It's what I do for a living. And so, because of the nature of my business, one thing that I've been exposed to, and what all salespeople in any sales background realizes, is that people only half listen. Americans, I don't know about other countries.
I'm sorry, I wasn't listening to you. What was that?
Americans, for some reason, they have a really bad habit of only half listening. So, an individual in America, especially a person who already voted for a Democrat like Obama, is only going to half listen to that statement and say, yeah, that makes sense.
I'll be right back. I got to update my Facebook status. I'll be back.
But a real thinking American will take the time to really dissect that statement and what he's really saying there. And what he's saying is that any person who's not military or not police that owns an automatic firearm is a criminal. That should be frightening to you. That should be frightening. If you're an American citizen, that should scare the hell out of you. Whether you agree, whether you own guns or not, whether you believe that we should own guns or not is irrelevant. The nature of that statement should scare the hell out of you, because he's putting everybody into a kind of
a generalization.
Box. Right.
Well, there's two ways to look at that. And one of the ways is, why does my neighbor need a big, scary firearm with scary looking designs on it?
Doesn't matter.
And a scary handle that makes me fear for my life. But it doesn't work that way. I had to set that up to make you get into that mindset. I don't care what my neighbor has.
Right.
I really don't. That's his business. If my neighbor draws a gun on me and tells me to give up my food or something, there's a different story.
Right.
Because he could just very well walk into my house with an axe and chop me in the head, and none of this is going to matter.
Right.
The whole conversation won't matter. So I don't live in that state of fear. But these people tend to want to create a state of fear so that they can disarm you, and that's what I'm picking up on. And I don't even own a firearm. But
right. Same here.
I'm not dumb. I can pick up on this stuff very quickly and very easy, that they're trying to create a state of fear, just like all these viruses and swine flu and this and that and Ebola. And Ebola is a very scary subject right now for everybody. Guess how many people died? 3?
What, 2, 3? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like 3 now. Maybe the tally is different. Let me tell you, it's not an epidemic yet. Maybe it gets to epidemic, but to create that amount of fear over something that there's less deaths from than, let's say, here in Florida, Highway 95 traffic. Well, maybe we need to shut down 95 because more people have died from that.
That's such a good point. And if you really take a step back and look at it, not only in regards to Ebola, but everything that these fearmongers like to push, you realize that none of these things are really dangerous, life-threatening, need to panic issues. They put these issues there to keep you distracted.
Distracted from what? That is the question.
Distracted from everything. Distracted from everything that really matters, which is, illegal taxation through the Federal Reserve, through illegal wars.
But that's legal too, because
it sure is. Well,
nobody cares.
Right, exactly. Which goes into complacency. Great point.
Well, you know what? At the end of the day, I want to enlighten and encourage everybody to understand the Constitution. And by the way, if you carry a copy around of the Constitution in your pocket, you are classified as a domestic terrorist, according to the powers they presently be. That makes you a fundamentalist and an extremist and possibly a terrorist. So don't carry that pocket edition around. But you do need to understand it, because at the end of the day, the Constitution is what holds the fabric of this country together, unless you would like to become a statistic and end up like these people in other countries. Know what you're voting for, people.
Right. Right, absolutely. And that brings me to another point, which I don't know if we ever brought up on air before, but I wanted to get your view on it. I don't think that we have brought it up on air, and if we did, we just kind of touched on it and moved on.
What would that be?
I'm of the firm belief that I believe that no one should be allowed to vote for anything, ever.
I disagree already. Go on.
If you don't have a basic roundabout knowledge of politics, i.e.,
the Constitution,
the three branches of government, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, basics. Nothing too intricate.
What are the three branches of?
Too intricate is what I say.
What are the three branches? The oak branch, the pine, and what?
The judicial, the executive, and the oh crap! Don't make me look stupid.
You can't vote now.
It's that damn Viking Moonshine.
I poisoned
them. Executive, the legislative, and the executive. Thank you.
You said executive twice, but you got to write the first time.
No, I did not.
You're not allowed to vote drunk. Let that be a lesson to you.
That too. Executive, the legislative, and the judicial.
Yes.
Are the three branches. You shouldn't be allowed to vote if you don't have a basic, rudimentary knowledge of the Bill of Rights or the Constitution. Basically, you shouldn't be allowed to vote if you don't have a basic idea and knowledge of how government works.
How about you shouldn't be allowed to vote unless you're paying taxes? Is that too extreme for you?
Here's my thing.
You're not contributing to the system.
You are, though, because...
So it's easy to vote for something that gives you freebies.
No matter what, you are contributing taxes, though, because even if you go out and buy a candy bar, you're paying taxes on that candy bar.
No, you're receiving food stamps, and you're getting them for free.
Well, some people are, yes.
So what if you're not paying taxes in the sense of you're not paying taxes?
That's a good point.
Why should you be allowed to vote?
That's an excellent point. You know what? That's a good point that I would like to hear your opinions on. Honestly, because I'll be straight up. I don't know, and this show is all about learning, not only spreading knowledge, but also learning, because I don't know everything.
I like your attitude.
I know you don't feel like you know everything. I would like to know as much as possible.
I know it all.
I'd like to know as much as possible. So, any of you out there who are listening to the show, what do you think? Do you think that you should be allowed to vote or not be allowed to vote if you don't pay taxes?
And the reason I bring that up is because, let's say you're not contributing at all. It's very easy for you to get duped by somebody who goes, hey, vote for me and I'll give you free stuff. Because you don't pay anyway. So if you can get enough of these people to vote for you, you win. And I have that's kind of like a conflict of interest to me.
Right.
Very much like sleeping with the president, which I'm not, by the way.
Right. Well, not today.
Well, I'm confused. All right, guys.
All right, so we're rolling up on the last couple seconds here of the show. Thank you guys so much for sticking around. I really appreciate it. Seriously, you have any views in regards to anything that we said as far as people being allowed to vote, whether it's knowledge or lack thereof? in regards to the political system, paying taxes, things of that nature, let us know. We'd love to hear from you. Please follow us on Spreaker, Spreaker.com/Let's Talk Freedom. You can also find us online, talkfreedom.webs.com. Thank you to our sponsors.